welcome back to the dry point part 2. So this morning I'm going to be looking at how we can mark make and create texture within the line work. Obviously this is relevant if you're an abstract artist or a realist artist. Texture allows you to express through the marks. This is our printing plate we did yesterday. I've tried to replicate the image as best I could using exactly the same tools on a new piece of dry point card. And the reason I've done this is that the marks on a dry point card, every time you put them under the press, they get squashed, so they're not as strong. It doesn't addition very well. So I'm started a new one, but it also will show us at the end of this series the sequential sort of stages we've done throughout the dry point making. So we don't need that one anymore, so I'm just going to pop that to the side. These are the tools I'm going to be using, many of which you'll find around your house. There are numerous other things you can find, so please, just have a play. The first one I'm going to be using is this mini, whether it's a toy cheese grater, who knows, I found it in a pound shop and it's brilliant. I'm going to use this is a nutmeg side, a really scratchy sharp side, to add some, literally scratch the surface and add some marks within the cave. I'm also going to start to batter the edge of the card a bit, because I kind of like the broken edge. You can see it becomes a bit more lively. So there we go, getting some nice sort of textures scraped in. You'll see I'm revealing the actual card underneath. Again, absolutely fine, it's not a problem. Just make sure you brush it down before you print it. I'm also going to add to the cave this is a lemon zest or lime zester, lots of little sharp holes at the end. I'm going to zest the plate. It creates really nice parallel lines and textures. Again, something some people might have around their home. It's making our cave really lively, which is what we're kind of wanting to do. Next, this is a piece of copper piping, just standard plumbing piping. I'm going to be using the edge where I put the sun, which is about there if you remember, and I'm just going to start rolling the piping around the edge to almost create rings of sunlight around it. Again, this can be used in any manner. You might use it like that, you might use it like that. Again, have a play, really nice tools. Kitchen fork. I'm going to use this to add some texture for the grasses. Different texture, sort of wavy texture perhaps. And also it's actually quite nice having that done. I'm going to add a few waves to my fire. And at the moment there's going to be a bit of an overload of information on this printing plate. And that is, I'm showing you the techniques involved, and I'm also aware of where this series is going, and I will be paring it back later on down the line. If you're doing this on a sort of an image you want to keep, it's worth having a little tester piece of dry point so you can test these marks before you go on to your finished version. This is just a standard screw, but the tapping, that's the ridgy bit, makes a really nice effect if you roll it along the edge. But again, it doesn't have to be the edge. There are, I'm sure, numerous ways you could use these tools. Lastly, I have here a few little pieces of lead type. I bought a whole load of box of random type off eBay, because what I do is I use the actual type end, this happens to be a letter H, to create a nice texture. Use a nice stone hammer. I'm not using them to print with, I'm using them as an abstracted texture. In this case it's an abstracted texture for grass seeds. And that's a nice shape. That's a number. It's an and, an old school and symbol. There we go. Cool. So I'm also going to do is I'm going to use one of the cheese graters, lime zesters, just to emphasise the tree, the foreground tree trunks a bit, just to give them a bit more depth. I think we're going to roll with that. So, tools away. And inking up as of yesterday. The ink I'm using is an Intaglio black oil based ink, as I said yesterday. I find it works really well for this process. Any areas, like my cave here, where you've really scuffed up the card and you can see lots of the grey card underneath, they will absorb more ink. So just be aware of that if you've got a larger area of that. And this particular image is quite image based for me. I tend to work quite in between imagery and abstraction. So I do kind of really scuff up card quite a bit when I use it. I like to batter it a bit and it takes up quite a lot of ink. So just be aware of that. Again, nice circular motions, get it all in there. Using the same rag as yesterday, it's still got lots of life in it. Begin to see the trees coming out there. Now when you get to sort of this stage, you have to be aware of what marks you've added. If you've got some really delicate areas within your textural marks, start being more gentle with your wiping now, because what happens if you can press too hard and force it in too hard, the ink actually skids out of your embossed lines. So just, you know, listen to your plate, listen to yourself, and always have a nice soft pad. And don't scrub. Scrubbing doesn't get anyone anywhere. Well, unless you're cleaning your kitchen floor. I'm just going to move to a clean area so I don't pick up any black ink to the edges now. And give it its final polish. You can see the marks coming through quite clearly now. They're looking really cool. As I say, it will be an overload of information at this stage on this particular plate. But I will be paring it back, so just have fun and overload your plate. Wonderful. Just get those edges. Okay, check the back. Yep, all fine. So that goes on the press over here. I'm just going to disappear out of shot to get my paper, which has been soaking whilst I've been doing this. So again, it's a quick 5-minute soak. Putting it in between blotters now to remove all that excess moisture, so it's just a nice even damp layer. It's going on the press. You'll see the blankets come down. And away we go. Ideally, when using the press, you have a continuous action, so you don't stop. But the nature and design of my current press and the pressure I have it means I have to turn the handle in those stages. Ideally, you continue turning in one smooth line. Just bringing the print over. There we go, wonderful. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go and get the camera, which is currently suspended above me on our washing line, and bring it down so you can actually see the details of this. So just bear with me so you probably see my feet coming in shot. There we go. If I just zoom into this one, you can see here I've got some really nice black lines around the textures of the mountains. The little nails have come out here. Got some nice fork smoke coming up. The tree trunks are getting really nice and rich. That was with the zester. The sun has got its rings of copper piping around it. And it's beginning to have a bit of life. You can see the lovely typeset marks coming through. I'll just go over the plate so you can get a reference. And there we go. And tomorrow we're going to be doing one more thing on this plate involving tone. So getting the rich blacks in there, which should be really good fun. And I shall see you all tomorrow. Thank you.